where she was gonna give me a hard time about because I had a We're live from Stone Age Climbing Gym in Albuquerque, New Mexico. My name is Matt Ratajczak, and joining me tonight, no stranger to the climbing competition scene, is Molly Rennie. Molly, how are you?
I am doing great. I am so excited for this feed tonight. We have an amazing finals plan. I am sitting here looking at this great finals ahead of me, and I can hear this excited crowd behind me. Matt, you played a huge role in setting tonight's finals as well as the qualifiers coming into this. What do you think? What do we have?
Well, we had a big battle last night between a bunch of strong men and women. Tonight we narrowed them down to the top 5. They will be showcased here tonight on 4 climbs each, 4 for the men, 4 for the women. And by the end of the night, in the next hour or two, we will have crowned the 2018 Yank-N-Yard champion.
Yes, we will. Behind me, we have this crowd filling in. I feel like I have to talk really loud because they are so excited. People are amped for this competition. In fact, I hear that we actually sold out the crowd.
We did. That's a fact. When tickets went on sale about a month ago, we sold out of these front row bleacher seats for the live showing very quickly. We've got overflow viewers in our main rope climbing room watching on a big screen. We've also got a screen outside the gym in our beer garden for anyone else that wants to hang out outside. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful night here in Albuquerque.
And it doesn't hurt that Santa Fe Brewery is one of our sponsors, so people are not only enjoying the live feed, whether they're out there or the live action in here, but they're also enjoying some good beverages.
Right, so shout outs to our lovely staff here at Stone Age. We couldn't have done this with our huge team of dedicated employees, as well as our sponsors that helped us out to throw this awesome comp. Our title sponsor is the North Face, Never Stop Exploring. Our main hold sponsor for this evening is Volks Holds.
And of course, Santa Fe Brewing Company is also one of our sponsors this evening.
Founded in 1988 by thirsty people desperate for good beer.
I think we have some thirsty people tonight.
Joining us here in the booth is Stone Age founder and owner, Brian Pletta. Brian, great to have you. Fill us in on the history of the Yank-N-Yard.
Well, thanks, Matt. Yeah, this is our 22nd year. The first competition was in January of 1988. We've been doing it every year since then. We've been doing this pro round for, you know, I'm not really sure, but I'm going to say like the last 8 years. It might be plus or minus 2 from that, but probably about the last 8 or 10 years. And, you know, it's just really exciting for the, you know, for all of our local community to get together and watch these pros battle it out for a cash purse. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, this is my second year being a part of the Yank-N-Yard, and I am way more psyched this year than last, so I can't imagine being here for each and every one of them. But it's bigger than just tonight. We've got a week-long of events. You want to fill us in on what the Primate Festival is all about?
Yeah, the Yank-N-Yard actually kicks off a week-long event, what we call our Primate Climbing Festival. It's 8 days of competitions. We have shoe demo. We have clinics, a couple of clinic nights. We do a movie night this year. We're doing a screening of No Man's Land, which is a women's film festival down at the Chemo Theater on Friday night. So really, you know, a lot of activity all week long. We've got something going on every night of the week. Monday night, we have something really special going on. We're having a groundbreaking celebration. We're actually opening up a second gym in the next year. We just bought our property, and so we're going to do a little groundbreaking celebration on Monday night. And yeah, so it's great. Our memberships are on sale all week as well, so we have a great sale all week too.
Awesome, that's exciting news. As an employee, I'm half excited, half scared for the onset of that new building. The community here is psyched, not only for tonight, but the future of a bigger and better Stone Age climbing gym.
Absolutely. As a community member, I'm really excited about the new location. It's really well needed in Albuquerque. It's a huge climbing community, and I think that another location is going to go over really well. So thank you for bringing that.
Great, Brian. Anything else you'd like to leave our viewers with tonight to get the show started?
No, I'm really just excited to see these climbers and see what they can do tonight. I know it's going to be a great show. Our route setters put up some beautiful plastic on the wall. I mean, you know, the Volks holds are just awesome, and it's going to really create a great show. I hope our climbers like it. I know they will, and everybody's going to have a good time.
Awesome. Well, Brian, thank you for joining us. We are going to now take a look at some of our boulder problems for this evening. Take a look at what our route setters have cooked up for us.
Before you start, Matt, I just have to say I walked out there and touched all of the holds, and I am just really surprised at how sticky and gritty everything is. These climbers are going to have no skin left by the end, and I wonder, were the qualifiers that sticky too? Do they even have skin going into tonight?
So these Volks holds were shipped in specifically for our finals round. Whatever was left over, we brought into the qualifying round, but for the most part, these climbers have not seen some of these holds. They probably haven't touched them, and I can speak as one of the route setters. After the first day of forerunning these finals climbs, 2 of our route setters actually had fingertips that were bleeding. So the texture is great. Not all of the holds are as good as you may think. I'm sure as we take a closer look at some of the holds, we will see just how bad they are.
Absolutely.
And so, as you could probably hear, our MC is now on the floor. The crowd is psyched. And we're about to introduce our 5 men and female finalists.
Absolutely. Our 5 men and 5 women tonight are actually really young. We have managed to pull together 10 fairly young, some somewhat inexperienced climbers tonight, at least in the adult phase. And so it's really exciting tonight to see these young stars emerge. We do have some old faces, I don't mean to say old, but you know, some faces that we've seen around before. But it is exciting. I feel like it's a debut for a lot of these climbers tonight. I think our oldest climber is 26. And then we have 2 others in the 20s, and everybody else tonight are teenagers, which makes me feel so old, but I'm excited for the future of the sport.
Me too, especially with the prospect of climbing being in the Olympics. It's really exciting to see the sport expand and grow. In the 10+ years that I've been climbing, the industry and the sport itself has it seems like it's doubled or tripled in participation. So as a route setter and a coach, it's almost a blessing that the sport continues to grow this large, because, you know, we're able to showcase these talented young athletes on a beautiful stage here tonight like we have at Stone Age Climbing Gym.
And Matt, what drew these competitors tonight? What made them think, I'm going to venture out to Stone Age and drive from Phoenix or Denver or Fort Collins? Why are they here?
So I think some of them, it's for the money. Others, it's for the heat of the competition. You know, as you can see above our boulder, we got a bunch of sponsor banners. We got Prismatic Coffee, Santa Fe Brewing, La Sportiva, you know, all these great big companies that these young kids are really driven to get sponsored by to help them become professional climbers.
Yes, and here they're coming out right now. You can hear this very loud crowd behind me. We are excited to see what these guys can offer us up tonight. So again, our title sponsor is the North Face, Never Stop Exploring. So we're looking at now the competitors for tonight's competition. Again, these 10 competitors have come in from all over Colorado, Arizona, and a few locals as well. We do have a few local Albuquerque climbers tonight, which we are especially proud of, and we will be showcasing tonight as our future Albuquerque talent.
That's right. The gentleman in the middle there of the men's is young Domingo Jones. He's one of my athletes here on Team Mojo at Stone Age, and it's awesome to see him here able to show his talents amongst a strong field. So Molly, what's going on right now? What are these climbers doing?
So there's a preview that happens for these climbers in which they can have time to look through all the climbs. You can see that they're actually discussing amongst each other what they think the beta is, and whether or not they'll take each other's advice is really up to them. But they do have an opportunity to discuss and consider what they might do. They also are allowed to touch the first hold on the problem, and that's kind of nice because it gives them a chance to sort of see how they might establish themselves before they start on their climb. So we're looking at women's number 1 there in yellow.
And if you can see on some of those holds, we've got these white tags that have numbers on them. And I'm going to go into a little bit more detail about the scoring system here tonight. Each climb is worth a total of 25 points. So if a climber is able to send the climb, or what we like to call a problem, because they're typically pretty hard to solve, they're awarded 25 points if they get on their first try. Every failed attempt will deduct 1/10 of a point, so 0.10 from their score. So if they finish a climb in 2 tries, they'll be awarded 24.9 for that climb. There are 3 other zones or checkpoints, a maximum of 3 other zones. There could be less. That could award them other points, so anywhere from 5, 10, or 15 points to help add to their final score.
Yeah, and in order to actually earn the scores on the top, they should be matching and establishing control on that 25-point hold. And then you can see the 10 and the 15 and the 5 below that. They should establish that they can actually make movement off of the holds, which is slightly different from rules past.
Right, right. And so the climb we're looking at now has a bunch of volumes, or you know, these specific volumes are shaped like pyramids that are protruding from the wall. They add an extra element of surprise to these competitors who think they knew what the gym shape was. These particular volumes, the black section is very textured. That white strip you see on that top left corner is glossy. It's like trying to step on glass.
It is. It's like fiberglass. I walked up earlier and ran my hand down it, and I was thinking, there's no way. If you wanted to stand out, there's absolutely no way. Sometimes the dual text holds, which is the dual texture holds, you can stand on if you're really careful, but I don't think it's feasible to stand on the white part at all.
Right, right. So to give you another idea of what these competitors will be facing tonight, they will only have 4 minutes to try each of these climbs. So they get a 2-minute preview now per problem to see, you know, to get an idea of what they're going to have to do to get through them. But then when it comes time for the actual climbing, they have a 4-minute hard clock, which means when that clock strikes 0, wherever they are, that's it. They come off. Those are the points they get. So a high-stress environment. They've got limited time, limited attempts. So not only do they have to try hard, they've got to climb smart. And, you know, as a competitor, Molly, what are some other techniques that these climbers will use to increase their odds of finishing these climbs?
Well, I think it's really important for the less experienced competitors to listen to what the other more experienced competitors suggest for beta, but I also think it's really important for a competitor to have a couple of different ideas of what they can do, because we have Abby out there who's 5 feet tall, and then we have Saskia who's 5'7". So really, for them to have the same beta or the same plan for a climb, it might not make sense. So walking up to a problem, it might be a good idea to have 2 or 3 ideas of what you might be able to do, and that just really comes with experience. Right,
so now taking a look at some of these competitors, it seems like some are working together and they're communicating ideas, and others are kind of taking a step back and kind of thinking of their own plan. How do you see that as a strategy during this preview round, Molly?
You know, that really comes down to personality and also who you know already out there. You know, in some cases, you might have 3 people who are prominent sponsored pros out there, and the 3rd and the 4th person doesn't really know anybody, so it can feel a little bit intimidating to be on the mat with them. In this case, we do have that similar mix, so I can imagine that some people really want to hear, for example, what Matt Foltz has to say, but they're not going to stand right next to Matt and feel comfortable asking him questions necessarily, because maybe they've spent the last 5 years totally idolizing Matt, and now here they are on the mat,
climbing,
no pun intended,
about to climb
climbing with him, yes.
So here we are looking at men's one and women's one. For you viewers at home, the yellow climbs will be all of our women's boulder problems, and the red climbs will be our men's. Looking at our first 2 competitors here, for the men's on climb 1, we've got Ilias. He is 17 years old. He's been climbing for around 4 years, which is an amazing feat in itself. He's 5'6", and he's from Colorado Springs.
And for the females, we have Jocelyn, and she is 15 years old, although she's one of our taller competitors this evening. And again, if you are just now joining us, you can hear from the exuberant crowd behind us. We are about to start the 2018 Yank-N-Yard. My name is Molly Rennie, and with me tonight is Matt Ratajczyk. And we are about to see the very first climbs of the evening.
So to give you an idea what to expect for these first climbs, men's 1 is a jump. He's gonna have to jump through. He's gonna have to jump through that fin of a hold and either hold on to that one or paddle through to that 5 zone. And for the women's, we've got a very slow, balancy climb through these black volumes, which requires some high tension and some interesting body positioning.
I never know which one I prefer, a balancy climb or a run across climb, because you have the jitters that might make you fall off on the first climb if it's really balancy, but to have that dynamic power on the first climb is also really intimidating. And they both look really challenging to start with.
Now to clarify for viewers, Jocelyn on climb 1, she touched the 5 zone hold, however she did not control it. So it's more than just touching the hold. You've got to grab it and then show control that you can then move off of it. So both climbers still with no points. We're just over a minute into climb 1. Ilias is looking like he's making some progress on controlling this big fin.
So it looks to me, Matt, like on men's 1, Ilias has to maybe do a 1, 2, 3, meaning he's going to reach out and grab that third hold over.
So that is one method. That was the original intention of the climb, but after we gave it a couple attempts, we realized we can just jump and grab that hold without paddling through.
Okay, well, we'll see what he ends up doing.
Oh, and here's Jocelyn, made her way up to the 10 zone on women's 1.
There's a lot of surface on those volumes that she's working through, and now she has to think about how to use them as her feet.
There's a lot of surface, but let me tell you, Molly, the texture is not that great.
Jocelyn's eyeing the top hold, and she just missed. Oh, and an almost stick from Ilias. So it is 1 minute 40 left, and once the clock runs out, that is it. There is no plus time. That means when they hit 0, they have to drop, even if they're about to finish. So these climbers have to think about how to use their time adequately, and they have to judge how much time it will take them to get to the top.
So one of the challenging parts here as a competitor is, as much as you want to try again and try the move that you just fell on, these attempts in the long run at the end of the finals can count against them.
Ilias taking some exciting falls, showing his experience and falling straight down on his back.
So here we have Jocelyn again. She made her way up to those yellow holds above all the volumes.
Do you think she'll continue on with the heel hook beta and just try to power over it?
From what we did forerunning, she's going to need to step and trust those volumes to jump to the finish. She may have the height, but in terms of getting her hips and her body where she needs to be, I think she'll have some better luck getting her feet on those volumes and just believing her feet will stay.
Again, being one of our taller competitors, she would have the best shot at riding that heel all the way to the top, but it doesn't seem to be working. They have 20 seconds left now, so in order to get to the top, Jocelyn's going to have to really move through these volumes. And at this point, Ilias is probably just looking to stick zone 5.
Ooh, and Ilias got a hand on that 5 zone.
Here we go, Jocelyn. Oh, so close.
And there we have it. Our first competitors are done with problem 1.
So next out, for the women, we have Abby. And you can hear the crowd behind me Because Abby is a local, well, sort of a local. She's left us recently, but we still claim her.
And talking about locals, we've got Domingo Jones on men's one.
Also a local.
He's a local here from Albuquerque, New Mexico, born and raised.
So, Matt, you coach Domingo. You know what he's all about. So, tell me, what do you think? What's your prediction? Is he going to stick this?
Domingo has an uncanny ability to do things that are unbelievable. So I would not be surprised if he got this on his first try, but you never know. That hold is not that great.
And also, he's got to be looking at some nerves tonight. This is his first major competition outside of the youth competitors.
And
but look at that read.
As you can see from his first attempt, he was very close to grabbing that 5 zone.
Very cool, very calm. You can see him taking a deep breath. I think he's going to stick that.
I have to agree. If it's not this next one, it's probably in the next few after that.
Yep. Abby's still working out the start moves. There's a lot of surface area to work with. She just has to find the path of least resistance. Oh. Seems like Domingo's considering his options. That's smart as he's discovering what beta is the best for him. But I hope he comes back to the 1, 2, 3, the paddle. Abby's working her way through these volumes, eyeing up the first of the yellow holds. Abby is our shortest female competitor at 5 foot, although she does have a plus ape index, meaning her arms are longer than that, so hopefully she can use that to her advantage as she goes for this last hold. Ow. Abby sticks it.
And there we have it, our first top of the evening from Abby Jakowski on women's one. I believe that was her second attempt.
It was her second attempt, and the crowd is so excited. Now they're ready to get behind Domingo.
Yeah. All eyes on Domingo on men's one.
Again, if you're just joining us, we are here tonight at the 2018 Yank-N-Yard, and we are up for some amazing action. Check out Domingo on this run across and jump.
So, taking a look at that 5 zone, there's a football-shaped hold blocking half of the hold. And that was intentional because Domingo's fingers actually hit that hold. He overshot it. So it's more than just getting to the hold. It's putting just enough energy to get your hand where it needs to be. Too much, and you hit the blocker hold. Too little, and you're not there.
True test of coordination.
So, Molly, time management here is really important. Domingo's looking at just over a minute left.
Absolutely, and it's so hard to gauge on these types of problems where you're just falling on the first move. It's really easy to rapid fire over and over and over again attempts, and at some point you have to learn how to rest. And it seems like Domingo is picking up that importance.
And speaking of learning, in my experience, and I'm sure you can vouch for me as a competitor, moves like this, complicated dynamic movements, sometimes take a couple of attempts to learn the body positioning, learn the energy, learn the foot placements, and it seems like Domingo is learning. He's getting closer. However,
can he learn quick enough?
Yeah, however, the clock is against him right now.
I like how he's doing that little bunny hop off of the second, he just noticed the time, off of the second volume.
Oh, so close. Ladies and gentlemen, Domingo Jones. I'm sure this is not the last time we will see him after tonight's competition.
Next out, we will have Dylan Dureger. And Gabrielle. Gabby comes to us at a very young age. How old is Gabby? Let's see. Gabby's one of our teenage climbers tonight, but she's also one of our taller competitors, so we'll see what she does with this yellow section at the top.
And Dylan is 16, and he's currently living in Phoenix, Arizona, climbing at Focus.
as they're figuring out the body positioning on this first move. It's so easy now.
So, Molly, I need to be honest. This first men's climb was originally set by me with a little help from my setting team. We made some adjustments to make it as fair as we could. And it's making me a little nervous that nobody's stuck that zone. They're getting closer, but hopefully as we progress through these upper competitors, we will see progress through this boulder problem.
Well, we still have our top 2 climbers coming out for the men, Clay Gordon and Matt Foltz. Clay Gordon just performed incredibly well last weekend in San Diego, and Matt Foltz is absolutely no stranger to the comp scene. He's had a plethora of placements, top placements at a variety of climbing comps, including winning PBR. So I have a feeling we're going to see some sends.
I hope so. Now, to give you viewers at home an idea of what these climbers needed to do to get here tonight, last night here at the gym, the men had 10 problems and the women had 10 problems, and they were scored the same way they are here, 25 points apiece. They had to try to get as many points as they could to make it here. The top 5 men and women made it here tonight. Of those 10 climbs, 1 male topped all 10 and 2 females topped all 10. And I believe the 2 females were only separated by 6 tries through those 10 climbs. So it was a pretty tight field. They were fighting till about the very end. And here we have our 5 finalists.
I would say that's pretty good setting, Matt, to have that kind of separation. Well done.
That was our goal. So
Go
no
team.
ties, which means we've got a clean slate for tonight. And here we've got Gabby working her way into zone 10 of women's 1.
A little hesitation, and then she nailed her elbow. That always hurts.
Oh, Dylan, oh, so close to grabbing that 5 zone. So on that small little pyramid volume underneath the 5 zone is a hold for your left hand, so that when you grab the 5 zone with your right, the hold on the volume will stop your momentum, and that seems to be the last piece of the puzzle here for Dylan.
Oh. Is it possible to stick the 5 with the right hand, do you think, and continue to hang on to that left hand that they're jumping to? Or do you think you really have to come down into that volume jib?
I'm sure it is possible. It will definitely be harder, though. So that extra hold will definitely make it a little bit easier to stop that momentum. Climbers have just under 1 minute remaining.
So both of these climbers come to us from Phoenix, and I know that Clay is a junior, Dylan is a junior in high school, and I think Abby is the same age. I think she's also a junior. So we are looking at some very young competitors, yet look at what composure they have as they compete.
Some of these kids have been competing since they were very young, so to try hard under pressure is a skill not foreign to some of these guys.
And Gabby just peeling off the top hold. What a heartbreak for her. And Dylan's going for one more go.
So Molly, we are 3 climbers in. We have 0 tops and 0 zones for the men.
Yes.
And we've got a bunch of zones and 1 top for the women.
Yep.
We're down to our last 2 competitors here for problem 1. Arguably our strongest performers of last night.
Absolutely.
We've got Matt Foltz, currently living in Colorado.
Yes.
And currently staying with you.
That's right. He's sleeping in my son's room.
Yep.
On a tiny bed. Look at that body on a tiny bed. It's funny.
And on the left, we've got young Saskia Bauman out of Albuquerque, New Mexico. She's 16 years old, and she's been climbing for 9 years. So you do the math.
It's quite a contrast here. We have Matt with just years and years and years of professional experience, and Saskia in her first adult finals. Let's see how they do on these first problems.
Matt just got dangerously close to sticking that 5 zone on his first attempt. Let's see as he ponders the angles of these holds, if he can piece together this move for the first time of anyone tonight.
So Matt, he figured it out.
So close.
That was the beta. That's what you guys were thinking about. Absolutely. That's so exciting to see that play out the way you want it to. And there's Saskia.
And a flash for Saskia Baumann on women's 1, putting her into a tentative first place.
Man, she is on fire this weekend.
She climbed so controlled all last night.
Oh.
All right, now we got all eyes on Matt.
Saskia, one thing I can say about her is she's so quiet and so unassuming, and I love that she's out here crushing it. I feel like she finds her inner animal when she's out here, so I'm excited to see her continue on through the night.
Yeah, it is like night and day watching her compete versus when she trains. She is one of the fiercest, most tenacious climbers I've seen since moving out here to Albuquerque.
Absolutely. So Matt is 5'11" with a +5 ape index. Let's see how those extra long arms play out. Look at that. That was amazing.
There we have it. Zone 5 has been controlled.
The crowd is going wild. I cannot hear my own voice right now. As he makes his way up these tenuous holds.
So
I was
close.
just wondering if he would be able to throw a heel up there to ride to the top, or is he supposed to stand on that hold up there?
So there are 2 different methods for sticking that 15 zone that he was so close to controlling. You can throw the right heel hook up like he did, or you can smear your right foot on that small pyramid volume beneath the holds to jump and hold the swing. That really depends on the person and their level of flexibility. As a former track runner who hurdles, I really enjoyed the high heel hook. But for some of my other route setters, they can't get their leg up that high. They would much rather jump from a low foot.
Well, I think the odds are absolutely in Matt's favor.
I agree.
I believe we're going to see a send in just a minute. With 1 minute remaining, he knows exactly how much time he needs. And he's calculating out what he needs to do to make those last few moves happen without discounting the challenge of the first couple of moves.
And there we have it. He caught magic again. 30 seconds remaining. Let me tell you, those last 2 moves cannot be done quickly. Matt's going to have to be very controlled, pressing through those last 2 holds.
And a disappointing fall right at the top, but all smiles. The crowd is absolutely behind him. That was an amazing performance.
Despite not topping that problem, Matt is still in standalone first place with roughly 15 points minus some deductions for attempts.
Absolutely.
No one else has stuck that first move, so let's see how our last competitor, Clay, does on men's 1.
Yeah, so this is Clay Gordon. He did pretty well last weekend at the San Diego National Cup comp, and then over for the women, we have Michelle Abshire, and she comes to us from some experience as well. She recently did pretty well at the Portland Boulder Rally, where she finished in 5th in a pretty strong group of women. So now we are seeing some seasoned competitors at the top of this group, and we can see how they handle these first few moves.
Yeah, Clay's been climbing for 9 years. He's a 3-time national champion in sport climbing, which is rope climbing, but nonetheless, he is no stranger to high levels of competition, and as you can see, he's our first place qualifier coming in this evening, the only male to top all 10 climbs from last night.
And what I can tell you about Michelle is she is a tenacious climber. She competed at the Seco Block comp this summer, and she's not a sport climber. In fact, she told me she recently led her first climb just this summer. So for her, that really indicates her bravery and her boldness that I think we will see tonight, and her tenacity.
So Molly, for those new to climbing who are watching tonight, what is Seco Block?
Oh, it is my favorite competition to watch. It is the deep water soloing competition where you are 50 feet above the water. And that is the fall you look at. It is dangerous, it is terrifying, and if you are only a boulder, I can only imagine. I have no interest. So Michelle is one brave lady. She's also one of our few competitors tonight that is not a teenager. She is 22 years old.
Michelle is making her way up. She's now controlled the 10 zone. And let's see if she can follow suit with her last competitor in topping this woman's one.
Michelle was telling me that she was really hopeful not to see too much slab tonight. She's a very dynamic climber. She likes big moves and big jumps. So she should be at home and some of the other climbs tonight, whereas this one is probably not her jam.
So on that last attempt, Clay tried going slow and steady by grabbing that volume to the right, but it has minimal texture on it. But this last attempt seemed promising for him. He got his hand to the 5 zone. I think it's a matter of just connecting that left hand to that volume to slow himself down.
What do you think? 1:25 left. Is he going to stick it?
I think so. From watching him last night during qualifiers, he was pretty slow to start, but quickly gained momentum and did quick work of a lot of the boulder problems we set for these competitors.
And he's using a method that we've seen from a few other competitors, the 2-footed hop off of the second volume.
Yeah.
Some of the competitors are running, and he is utilizing the 2-foot hop.
Yeah, so we mixed between bunny hop and frog hop.
I like it.
We couldn't settle on what we wanted to call it.
I think it's a frog.
Frog?
Yeah.
Frog hop?
That's what I would call it.
So Clay, in the nature of a seasoned competitor, is brushing his holds, looking at his clock to see how much time he has left.
Michelle's likely looking at her last attempt on this problem. Let's see if the crowd can help her get to the top. I think she can do it. She was so close on her last attempt.
So close. Michelle lining up for the last move. Just over 10 seconds remaining.
All she has to do is match, and there it is with a smile. Michelle has finished it. Oh, and a near catch from Clay on zone 5.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for climb 1. We are now moving on to boulder problem number 2, where these climbers will be tested on different things. So I wouldn't expect any more crazy jumps yet from the men. I wouldn't expect some bouncy, slow climbing for the women. We're here to find the most well-rounded climber. So these next climbs will test a different skill set for each of them.
The wall that the women are climbing on is pretty steep. I think it's deceptively steep. I climb at this gym, and I know that every time I step onto that wall, it's going to be a battle.
That's right. So Jocelyn's going to be climbing through what we like to call the French fries, which are deceivingly bad. There's a small lip on each of them that you can crimp. However, I prefer pinching them. Gives me a little bit more control.
And again, this is Jocelyn Morris on the women's problem.
Fighting through those French fries.
And Elias Hussein on the men's problem. And there's Jocelyn eyeing up the largest of the French fries.
And this is still her first attempt. She's looking really strong.
She is.
Oh, and an unfortunate dry fire or hand slip there.
But she popped up with a huge smile on her face. She is psyched tonight. So let's talk about the white parts of those volumes that Elias is on. Tell me about those.
They have zero texture. So imagine...
Like -0 texture.
Yes. The black section of those volumes or pyramids are highly textured like sandpaper, and those white sections are glossy like your window or...
Fiberglass. They probably are made of fiberglass.
Right,
when I walked up, I was surprised at how slippery those are.
Yes, and again, that wall is also not pure vertical. It is slightly overhanging. And those volumes, they protrude quite a bit, but they're all sloping downward. So climbers need to rely heavily on core tension and finger strength to keep themselves on the wall.
So core tension's really found by body positioning, right? So for these climbers on those big volumes, like Elias, he has to really find his correct body position in order to establish and move through those climbs.
That's right. So the simple volume climb for the men's on the right was originally set by young master Ben Hanna, who is also no stranger to the competition scene. However, he decided, as a fairly newer route setter, this is his first big competition he's set for, he wanted the experience of being on the other side, which was great. Having somebody as strong as Ben on the team was fantastic. He was actually here last year as a competitor for the Yank-N-Yard and podiums. So it was great having him on the team, and it was amazing watching him do the moves on this climb, because the other setters were just baffled that he could pull himself off the ground and move through these volumes so effortlessly. Whereas we struggled just to get our foot up on that first move.
Yes, and you could see Ilias really trying to find the sweet spot for that right foot. He bumped it in close, he put it out far, and he just couldn't quite decide what the best spot would be in order to make that transition over to the right.
Right. And then the French fry climb on the left was also my original boulder problem. I am known for my pinch strength, and it was no surprise that I grabbed the giant French fries. Seems like Jocelyn was pretty fatigued after that first attempt. She's having a hard time getting back to that high point, but she's got 20 seconds left. This is enough time for her to finish this boulder problem if she moves quickly.
And Jocelyn is one of our taller climbers, so you can assume that maybe her hands are going to be larger than somebody like Abby at 5 foot. So I'm wondering how our smaller competitors are going to do on your French fry problem. They may not have the hand size, so you may end up seeing some of the people crimping on top of them instead of pinching.
Right. So we've got a first look at our scores after problem 1. We've got Matt Fultz and Stan alone first after problem 1, with the only one scoring any points. And what is the women's side looking like, Molly?
Well, the women are, Saskia is sitting in first, and Abby is sitting in second with just one attempt separating them. Michelle had a couple of more attempts on that problem, which was why she's in third, but all 3 women topped that problem. And here out tonight we have the Albuquerque family. We have Abby out competing on women's 2, and then Domingo competing on men's 1.
Now, Abby's from Albuquerque, but currently she's moved, right? She's up in Colorado, setting in Fort Collins, is it?
She is, yes, and she's gaining so much experience. I climbed with Abby recently, and she's gotten really, really strong since moving to Colorado. She's always been a force, but I think her experience has really developed through setting.
Yeah, she's bouldered V10. She's finished very high up at Youth Nationals. I think 9th was her best ever finish in her youth competing years. She's 21. She likes to hang out with her dogs when she's not climbing, which I'm a big fan of.
She was eating a lot of cookies last night, and she claimed that was her superpower.
And Abby's looking really strong through these French fries.
Small hands do not seem to be an issue for her. Abby sent that incredibly fast, which is no surprise because Abby's claim to fame is that she once beat Megan Mascarenas and Margot Hayes in a speed climbing competition.
Well, she's already headed back into ISO. She gets a little bit more rest. An impressive flash of women's 2. And now all eyes are on young Domingo Jones on men's 2.
He seems to be pretty comfortable with the place he put his foot. He didn't spend any time seeking out different locations for that foot, which I think really speaks to his experience, even though he is so young.
That's right. Oh, and an unfortunate foot slip as he was preparing to move to that finish hold.
And again, I'm going to note that Domingo is relatively inexperienced because he's so young, but look at how calm and collected he is. He stepped up from that climb after falling and looked at the clock and took a deep breath, and you could see him calculating just what he needs to do. I think Domingo is somebody we should keep our eyes on for the future in this sport.
That's right. I mean, inexperience in terms of the open adult comp circuit, mainly because he was too young to ever compete before. And now here he is, old enough to climb with the big boys. And, you know, his experience as a youth climber is showing. He's He just brushed all his holds, which as a climber, we want friction. We want to feel the texture of those holds, and when all that chalk and shoe rubber gets gunked up where we want to grab, it's in our benefit to clean as much as we can off with those brushes.
And here we go for what will likely be the last attempt for Domingo. He's likely going to focus on that foot. And again, a foot slip, but a really, really great effort from Domingo.
Yeah, he has controlled the 15-point zone. So he's got his name on the scoreboard now. It moves him up into a tentative second place behind Matt Foltz. But we still got 3 climbers to come out for climb 2. And up next, we have Dylan and Saskia.
Absolutely. So now I'm really excited to see Saskia climb this. She is sitting in first. So we shall, oh, it's not Saskia. That's Gabby.
Yeah, that is not Saskia.
We moved ahead of ourselves. Here we have Gabby coming out. And Gabby's been fun. You know, I asked her a bunch of questions earlier, and she was not really excited to share a ton of information because I realized she was just really humble. And as I talked to her more, I was able to pull out a lot of really interesting information about her. Gabby is actually way more experienced than she was letting on initially. And she's had a lot of experience in the youth circuit, which is, you know, I think it's a lot more experience than a lot of people at my age have had. I didn't get to compete as a youth.
When did you start climbing, Molly?
I started climbing when I was 19, so I was a teenager too.
Me too. Ooh, and Gabby was so close to controlling 10 on her first attempt. Dylan making quick work of problem 1 on the curse of the commentator. Slips off as he tries getting his foot up.
So again, as I was mentioning with Gabby, she competed at Open Nationals as an adult last year. That was her first Open Nationals, and she finished in 20th, which means she went to semifinals with a really stacked women's field. That is a really difficult spot to get yourself into, especially your first time around. So she does come to us with some serious experience.
Yeah, she looked really strong last night during the qualifying round. As I was walking around the boulder, I'd catch her attempts here and there, and the climbs I saw on it seemed just so effortless for her. She looks calm, relaxed, composed, and aside from being physically strong, it's important as a climber to be mentally strong as well.
Let's see if we can keep the foot from slipping here on the men's problem.
So Dylan's trying a slightly different method. Instead of putting his foot on the volume like Domingo was, he's using his hand to press to get his body up for that last move.
Again, you wonder how much they discussed it while they were standing out here and even back in isolation, and what they actually ended up doing, how that was different, and how much of it is planned. I can say from experience, in my own experience, that oftentimes I just throw out any beta I came up with and just let my body take over, which is probably not a good plan, but I think these more experienced competitors have, 2 or 3 ideas in their toolbox before they head up on the wall.
Right, and on problems or climbs this challenging, you recognize very quickly if your first plan isn't going to work.
From watching Gabby climb last night, I am absolutely confident that she can send this. It's just a matter of whether or not she can do it within the time allotted. And you notice that Dylan is actually crimping behind the volume, meaning he's stuffing his fingers into the teeny tiny spaces available to him behind the volumes.
Oh, and in a very exciting moment, both climbers looked so close to finishing their climbs, and unfortunate slips send them back to the ground with 1 minute remaining. Seems like each climber probably has one more good attempt before time runs out. Dylan's wasting no time getting back on.
I think these volumes on the men's problem are really, really beautiful. And they lend themselves to such interesting movement. Look at that flexibility that he had to demonstrate through that top section. in a pretty good position right now as the only top currently on women's number 2.
And out next, we've got our leaders from Problem 1, Saskia Baumann and Matt Foltz. Saskia needs to top this in a few attempts if she wants to regain her spot in first.
I think she can do it. If I were to put money on it, I think she's going to send this one. And honestly, I think Matt is too. You know, another great idea behind brushing all those holds is to kind of get to know the surface of them. So we saw Matt doing that, and I think that's brilliant.
Saskia's moving nice and slow and controlled, very methodical. You can see those gears churning in her brain as she's fighting her way through those French fries.
Matt's moving quickly up men's 1. He's establishing whether or not that foot's going to work out for him, changing his mind at the last second. Again, Saskia is a local, so the crowd is absolutely behind her in her attempts.
An impressive first attempt.
Absolutely.
For
I thought
Saskia.
she was going to send that. So, fun fact about Saskia, she's a cellist, and she plays in the Albuquerque Youth Symphony.
You got to assume that climbing finger strength goes hand in hand with playing the cello, the guitar.
How much do you want to bet she does not want to play the cello tomorrow after having her hands all over these grippy, textured holds?
I would not be surprised if she took a few days off to let her skin grow back. Matt Foltz lining up for the finish holds.
Amazing shoulder power as he pressed through that move.
It looked like Matt was climbing a different boulder problem than everybody else.
You're right. His strength is so impressive, and his power through his shoulders is unreal.
So, if I'm not mistaken, Matt has sent V15. To put that in perspective,
he's real strong.
Yeah. There's after V15, there's a few V16s and one V17. So yeah, V15 is really good, really strong.
And here we see Saskia working her way up. Saskia is one of our young 16-year-old competitors. She doesn't have much competition experience. She hasn't climbed much outside. And here she is, confident and calm, and just tickling that last hole.
So Saskia decided with a minute left that she didn't have the gas to give it another good attempt. So she's going to save her energy, save her skin, go back into isolation, regroup, and get ready for problem 3.
Yeah, sometimes it's really hard to not give it another attempt when the crowd is out there, especially your hometown crowd.
Right.
And I think she's really smart to think about how much energy she has and really put her own needs before, what might be the crowd wants from her.
Now,
smart climbing.
Something we haven't mentioned was isolation. Molly, as a competitor who's been in isolation many times, explain to our viewers at home who are not familiar where these climbers go before and after each of their attempts.
So behind that screen back there, our competitors are warming up, and then they're just trying to stay warm. Everybody has a different warm-up routine. Some people stretch, some people try to do a lot of dynos, some people try to make sure their fingers are warmed up. I know that some people need 3 hours to warm up, and some people need 20 minutes, especially if you're under 20. Some of us older folk need a little bit more time. So it's really individualized, and I think that's really stressful because a lot of times people don't know what to do, and they look at others and maybe don't warm up correctly for themselves. And here we have out Michelle on women's 1. Michelle was looking so strong yesterday.
And she's made quick work to the 10 zone through those French fries.
I had not heard of Michelle before yesterday, and after yesterday, I was very impressed. She is very strong. She made quick work of a lot of the qualifiers. Oh, and again, just like Saskia, just tickling that last hold.
Inches away.
Centimeters. And here we have
Clay.
Clay on men's 2. And he recently sent Wet Dream, an 8A plus in Red Rocks, and then an 8B in pre-straw. So he's strong.
V12 and V13?
Yeah, he is a strong guy.
And
so we know he's very capable. And again, he did really well in the National Cup Series this year. He's a young competitor, though. So with that, he brings maybe some inexperience. He does have another +4 ape index. So he's 5'9" with a +4 fingertip to fingertip, which really seems to play to people's strengths and advantages, especially through these shouldery, reachy volume moves.
Right, so a 0 ape index would mean that your wingspan is the same exact as your height.
Absolutely.
Right, so a +4, he's got a little bit of an orangutan thing going on.
So Clay is +4 and Matt is +5.
What's your ape index, Molly?
Mine's +3.5.
Impressive. I think I'm only at +2.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's better than negative, right?
True.
Michelle's back up in those French fries. Oh.
What an amazing save. That is only the kind of thing that happens in competition. That fierce tenacity, that is what I'm talking about. That is what I've seen in Michelle so far. Oh, what an effort.
All eyes on Clay. So close to the finish holds. Oh, and he just missed that small red hold on that last volume.
It really looked like he was trying to press on that fiberglass slippery volume. He cannot press on that. There's nothing to press on. It is just like pressing your hand onto a slip and slide. There's nowhere to go but off.
I admire his optimism.
Michelle is heading off. She has had enough. She was very close.
Clay is dancing his way up back to this last move again. Let's see if he can find the strength to get himself up to that 25 zone.
It will be his last attempt.
Yeah, 15 seconds remaining.
Just can't quite unlock the beta.
And that is it for problem 2, Molly.
So we saw some serious separation in problem 2, which is really exciting. That's what you want to see from a route setter's perspective. And it's kind of fun, too, to see the separation happen in a way that it's not our first place people coming in that are still in first.
Right. And just like that, we are halfway done with our competition.
Wow.
We've got 2 climbs remaining. Again, we're going to be testing different things, and I'm really excited for these next 2 climbs. We had a lot of fun as route setters, testing them and modifying them to make them fun for both the competitors and the audience. So as we see them on their first try.
Looks so good.
Yeah, so
that's all I have to say. Of all the problems, that's the one I'm most excited about.
So Elias is going to try to get himself in that upside-down toilet bowl, as we call it. There's a big head-shaped scoop that he just grabbed.
Oh my gosh.
So without being too loud, the easier way to get yourself up in there is if you start facing the crowd.
Ooh, that is such a hard thing to do.
It's hard to see.
You don't want to look at the crowd when you're competing.
It's hard to read, and we've got Jocelyn here. Similar to men's 1 with that big coordination jump, we're going to look at some similar moves where these ladies are not only going to have to jump to a hold, but then coordinate their hands and feet in a specific way to stay on the wall.
So for women's 3, is it a right hand flips into that other hold right next to it?
That is one method.
Or do you helicopter your right hand over top of your head and catch zone 10?
So without flipping your hand, the helicopter is very intense and very hard to stop. But if you flip your hand, it slows you down enough to allow you to go a little bit more control to that 10 zone. I've got a feeling after a couple tries, Jocelyn's going to get a feeling for what she needs to do to make this happen. And there you go. She's flipped. She's slowed herself down and has completely made that jump not a jump.
It looked really easy. When she figured out the right way to do it, it did not look too bad. So with Ilias's attempt there, he started with both hands on the left tag, but he would have to match both the left and the right before moving up.
Yeah, so we tried that as well, and that's definitely the harder way. But here we've got Jocelyn.
Yes.
With a top of women's 3.
And she is very happy. I love that knee bar she found at zone 10. That was brilliant.
Yeah, and that's her first top tonight. Before this climb, she was sitting in 4th place, so that, you know, depending upon everyone else does, that could be really big for Jocelyn moving up the standings.
This is an exciting competition because I don't know how it's going to shake out. It could go a variety of directions right now, and that is the best. So you can see Ilias is feeling it in his lats and his shoulders. That is seriously intense, and he has to keep that in mind because he has another problem left. So he can't use all of his shoulder energy and all of his lat energy on this climb.
And if you noticed, despite a little bit of shoulder pain, he still had a huge smile on his face, and that's the great thing you like to see about rock climbers is things hurt, but it's still kind of fun at the same time.
It's like we like the pain.
Well, yeah, if it doesn't hurt, you're probably not doing it right.
I have to say, I saw him walking around last night, and he was smiling the entire time. I don't know him, but I like him. I like his attitude. Well, he managed to plunge his hand into the toilet bowl, if you will, and didn't quite manage to get in there all the way.
So I was actually able to get a no hands rest by shoving my head inside the toilet bowl.
Oh boy, a swirly? And here we are with our current results. So we have Matt Fultz sitting in first.
A comfortable lead.
Really no surprise there based on his sends. And then Abby has edged out Saskia with her most recent send as the only woman that sent 1 and 2.
So a very tight race for the women. Anybody's game still. The men, Matt's got a bit of a lead, but you know, anything can happen on these next 2 climbs, Molly, and any of these young kids coming out here can surprise us with a top and get right back in the running.
That's what's so exciting about this competition tonight. We have so many new names and so many new faces and so much new talent that it's not the same old, same old. We can't really make predictions, and to me that is way more exciting than watching all the regulars compete.
Domingo wastes no time getting up in the start of men's 3, pressing into the toilet bowl, stemming his feet out.
Oh, look at that drop knee. That looks painful. Oh, that took a lot of energy. You can see his body vibrating with effort.
So again, by arching his lower back like that, it's very challenging to get yourself situated for that next move. I really hope one of these competitors figures out to start facing the crowd. It'll make it a lot easier to stand up, put both hands in the toilet bowl, and then they can figure out spinning around to get that next zone.
Abby is making really quick work of this problem. She too has been able to find the knee bar, which I was curious about because of her height. She has 1 move remaining. Choosing to crimp the lower part and match. And it's a send. Abby is establishing a solid first place. I am really excited for Abby. She works super hard, so I'm excited to see her doing well tonight.
She made that climb look really easy.
That was fun.
All right, so now all eyes on Domingo Jones. Made some progress. He got both hands on the 10 zone, which, you know, like I said, facing the crowd is a bit easier. I got to assume Domingo's going to have a little bit of tunnel vision. He made it work. He's probably going to stick with the same method. but he's got plenty of time. He's halfway into his time. Seems like he should be able to put a little bit more energy into that move to get up to that next hold.
Matt, I really, really want to see somebody stick their head in the toilet bowl, like so badly. I really hope we see that tonight.
Domingo with a very flexible drop knee. He's got to flip that right hand to an undercling so he can jump up to the next hold. Ooh, and he tried doing a coordination flip.
This problem has got to be exhausting, though.
Yeah, as simple and easy as it looks.
Oh, it does not look easy.
It does not feel good. It does not feel good to be pressing there, but it looks real cool sitting back here.
Great setting. I have to say, this is a really fun problem to watch. The spectators are so excited about this problem.
Yeah, so speaking about these climbs, men's 3 was set by our local Jameson, who is unfortunately moving back to San Diego soon. And women's 3 was set by an Albuquerque native, Shane Sullivan.
Every tiny bit of muscle and effort and fiber is going into that. You can see every muscle working.
Yeah, his lower back is going to feel that tomorrow morning.
Oh, I think it feels it right now.
Domingo decides not enough time left for another good attempt, so he's going to save his energy, save his back, and head back into ISO and wait for that last climb.
Well, I'm sad to see him not send that climb. I really thought he was going to be able to do it, but I'm excited to see what our last couple of competitors have to offer on that. Again, we have Gabby out on women's 3. She's looking calm and collected.
And we've got Dylan over on men's 3. All right, let's see what these two competitors can do with these interesting arrangements of holds we've got on the right side of our wall. Dylan also seems to be choosing to start facing forward.
I got to be honest with you, Matt. I would have never read it facing out. I just don't think.
Dylan popped off the ground once. Unfortunately, did not establish. That will be an attempt for him. He's going to try that same method again. And Abby chose to go with the jump through.
Wow.
Made it look good.
Yeah. I noticed these youth competitors are so comfortable with coordination and with these dynamic movements. It's a new era of climbing, and they are setting the bar high. Beautiful drop knee.
As a competitor, how do you feel about the flashy, jumpy moves?
They are my anti-style, but I respect them, and I'm working on them. And as terrifying as they are, when you stick them, there is nothing that feels better than sticking a coordination move, honestly. I just hate the fact that half the time I end up face planting into the wall on those kinds of moves.
Well, I mean, that's how we learn, right?
Right, face plants.
Yeah, as two new parents, children face plant, but that's how you learn.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That is true.
So Gabby had an unfortunate foot slip on that first attempt. Wasn't able to catch fire on that second. And Dylan is trying to figure out this very shouldery first move.
That is just pure grit. That is pure determination.
Oh, and just missing the finish hold.
That was a lot of energy for him on that move.
Okay, Gabby's
It's
made her way through.
It's amazing what these climbing competitions can bring out in a person. You wonder what they would be able to do in training versus the competition.
Yeah.
And it seems to me that we just saw climbing comp mode come out in Dylan.
Gabby's lining up for the last move. And we've got another top on women's 3. So Go ahead.
We've seen a few tops on women's 3. Is this one, in your mind, the easiest of the women's problems, or are they all similar, or does it depend on style?
So yeah, that's a great question, and each climber has their own specific strengths and weaknesses. It is clear that this style of climbing is a lot of our female competitors' strengths. It is a new part of indoor climbing competitions. They are all training it, and it's clear to me that they are proficient in these coordination jumpy moves, or figuring out a way to not do the coordination jumpy moves.
So as a setter, Matt, did you guys intend for them to all be similar in difficulty if you were to assign them grades, or would they be different?
Grading is also subjective. For somebody that doesn't like a specific style of climb, it's going to feel a lot harder to them. We had a certain grade range in mind for each of these climbs. However, to ask to put a number on any of these climbs, it's close to impossible.
Absolutely.
They are challenging. I would say they're all at least V6 and up.
Absolutely, for the women, yeah.
Yeah, to give a specific number to them is pretty hard to assign, and that's a question of setters we get a lot. And
yeah,
even in
you
regular,
hate it, right?
Yeah, and even in regular gym setting, we'll say something's V4, and it's almost guaranteed that somebody's going to say that's not a V4, that's a V7.
Even outdoors, there's a lot of variety in grading. It depends on who established it and who said yes, that's the grade.
Right. And speaking of outdoors, a lot of these movements, like this little flip here that Saskia just tried, how often does that happen outside in your experience?
Absolutely never.
Yeah, it's 1 in a million. So, to be a strictly an outdoor climber, I would have to say if you don't train these types of moves, you're going to be way out of your element in a competition like this.
You could see Saskia's height coming through on that.
Yes.
As she caught that with ease. And Matt already up into the toilet bowl. Dropping the knee. We are looking at a really excellent first attempt from Matt. All he needs to do now is match that finishing hold. Ooh, and it was barely, but he did it, and that was exciting. That is true experience, not rushing the match, taking his time, establishing balance, and figuring out how best to make that final match.
We've got to look at the numbers, but I think it's safe to assume that Matt may have just secured a victory with that top.
He closed the door. I believe he closed the door.
That's 2 tops, and not a single other male competitor has finished the climb yet. So he's looking pretty good for first place tonight.
And how much does our first place competitor take home tonight?
I think $1,000.
$1,000 for an evening's work and a lifetime of training. Or at least 9 years, as it seems most of our competitors answered.
So as a professional climber, if $1,000 is great, but compared to other sports, we are still in our infancy in terms of where the sport is and how big it can be. And for those of you that don't know, climbing will be in the Olympics in 2020 in Tokyo. The onset of that may provide these professional athletes with a little bit more financial stability, and we may look at $1,000, maybe a couple of years it'll be $10,000.
Absolutely. People will be able to make a healthy living off of climbing competitions. And Saskia, being a young competitor, who may reap those benefits in the future. She has impressed me so much this weekend.
With 1 minute remaining, Saskia is probably going to spend a little bit of time resting. She walked off a bit early on the last climb, but she's out here. I think she knows she's going to finish. She can finish this climb.
I believe she can finish this climb too.
So it's relatively short, not too many moves. So with about 30 seconds left, I would expect her to get back on the wall and give one last good, honest go at finishing this climb. She'll definitely need it if she wants to catch Abby up in first place. Abby's got 3 tops, and right now Saskia only has 1, so she really needs to finish this climb.
I'm not going to lie, Matt, I'm pretty pleased to see two locals or Albuquerque natives sitting on the top of these podiums right now for the women.
Me too, and I'm sure the home crowd loves it as well.
Yes.
5 seconds remaining, one more move to go. Saskia lines up. Oh, and falls right at the finish hold.
She had to rush it. She had no choice. Had she had 5 more seconds, I think she could have established and found that top.
So here we are with our last competitors on climb 3. We've got Clay for the men.
And Michelle for the women.
Both are currently sitting in podium position. Grabbing a couple more points here will definitely help them going into the 4th problem. Unfortunately, I don't know if Clay can catch Matt. But the higher up you place, the more money. Yeah. It was really funny last night when Domingo found out he was in finals. 5th place is guaranteed $200. And those were the first words out of his mouth. He said, yes, $200.
That's a lot for a teenager.
Yeah, and you know, I think the way Domingo's climbing now, he may be looking at a little bit more than 200.
He might be.
You can see Clay's hair shaking, trying to get his foot up.
The vibration through his body all the way to the tips of his hair demonstrate his level of effort. These climbers want it. That is why they are in the position they are in tonight. They have that deep, hungry desire as competitors to top problems.
Oh. Clay just secured the 15-point zone, lining up for the last move. Just coming up short of that finish hold. But a very impressive, possibly the best first try of any of our competitors tonight for that problem.
Definitely the most effort and desire to send that I've seen.
I agree. Michelle's made her way up, matching the 10-point zone.
Seems that most of the women have chosen to utilize that knee bar. And it looks like Michelle has opted out of it. I'm not sure it helps a ton, but it might be enough to just establish long enough to make that reach through.
Or maybe to take a quick breath.
Yes, especially after all the coordination and power from earlier on.
Yeah, I know when I'm trying that hard, I often come down to the ground and think, hey, why was I not breathing that entire time? That usually doesn't help to hold your breath.
No, not at all.
Clay has decided to shed a few ounces of weight by taking his shirt off.
Which I appreciate because we can now see every single muscle in his body and his back working.
Clay has embraced the toilet bowl. Lining up again for the last move. Even closer than the last try. With 1 minute and 10 left, I have to assume Clay's got at least one more good try to get that finish hold.
Michelle not finding the knee bar, but it didn't seem to matter for that move. It was almost like she overshot the final hold and jumped too high into it.
You know, that finish hold is deceiving. Where most of the girls who have finished this climb grab is not the best part of the hold. We saw Abby earlier grab that little in-cut divot on the bottom left of that hold, which is good, but not as good as the top right corner. We found the best place was the very, very top right, but that's
if you're going big.
That's
and
real big.
For somebody like Abby earlier, she was going with a lot of control. And when you're looking at the top, I don't know about you, but I like to go with control.
Oh, yeah. Clay's got 13 seconds left. One more move to go.
Oh.
He chose to place his foot on the top of the volume rather than use the foothold provided, and ended up costing him. His foot slipped, and he wasn't able to grab that finish hold. But nonetheless, he achieved the 15-point zone on his first try, and that should help him in the final standings.
Definitely. That'll be very helpful, very beneficial to him.
So, Molly, we've got one climb left. The rest of the women's field is still pretty wide open, and the men are now fighting for those last 2 podium spots, with Dylan and Clay sitting in 2nd and 3rd, and Saskia and Michelle closing out the podium for the women's. Abby's not guaranteed to win, so let's see what these ladies can do. Try and catch them.
I was watching Ben Hanna earlier on Men's 1 for Run It, and it looks exciting. It's very spicy.
Indeed, spicy like the red and green chili here we have in New Mexico. Jocelyn on her first attempt has established the 15-point zone. One more move to go.
She is looking very solid.
Don't count her out, though. This last move is not as easy as it looks.
Yeah, it's going to require some serious balance and patience as she makes that movement over to zone 25 and the match.
It also requires a lot of commitment, because at the same time you grab that hold, you got to swing your feet over and stomp on that volume to stop your momentum. Easier said than done.
Absolutely, especially when you're really excited because you're almost at the end.
Yes, and this finish hold is the same toilet bowl we just saw in men's 3, however turned on its side. Despite having a big in-cut, it's very round and requires a lot of pinching strength, a lot of use of your thumb to control.
And a beautiful stick from Ilyas as he eyes zone 15. The men's problem is very exciting. What a way to finish the problems out for us, especially after that very strenuous men's 3.
Ooh, so Jocelyn's got the right idea. She's going a little bit more dynamically to that finish hold. However, she's got to dance her feet across that 5 zone, stomp her right foot on the surface of that last volume, and then squeeze everything in her body really hard to stop her momentum from pulling her off the wall. We've got Ilyas hopping on men's 4 again. Let's see if he chooses the same method to jump to those holds in the volume.
That is incredible strength to just catch with the right hand and casually pull in with the left.
Oh, heartbreaking. Ilyas, looking for his first top of the night, fell inches from that last hold.
The collective sigh from the audience was audible.
You have 1 minute remaining.
Ooh,
Jocelyn establishing that commitment is a critical component for finishing this problem. I liked her desire on that one.
She's asking for a little bit more energy from the crowd to get her up this problem with only 40 seconds remaining. She may only have one more good effort before her competition is over for the night. Ilyas looking tired, but definitely got one more good go from him. Jocelyn's lining up for this last move. The crowd's behind her. Oh, she's got the idea, but maybe not the energy. And that's it for our 5th place qualifiers.
They were amazing. That effort from both of them at the end and the positive attitude from both of them was amazing.
So we've got our tentative results after climb 3. Matt Foltz in a clear lead for the men, followed by Clay and Dylan, separated by 1 attempt.
That's incredibly close. As a route setter, you've got to be pretty thrilled about that.
Yeah, and Domingo's not far behind with a 5-point zone separating him from the podium.
We could see for Domingo, this could be a big moment.
Yeah.
If he sends this could put him on the podium.
Yeah, and Abby's looking good in first place right now with a decent lead, but she still needs these zone points to secure her spot on the first place podium.
I predict Abby will cruise up to 15 with ease, but I'm curious to see what she does to get over to the final hold.
You know, watching Abby last night in qualifiers and seeing her on the finals climbs tonight, I know she's got the power and the strength to do this last move. It's all a matter of, does she have the mental commitment to throw her body and hold that swing?
It's pretty serious commitment.
Domingo's getting ready for that big move in the arch.
Domingo probably doesn't know what weight this send for him would carry, but I believe he knows he should probably try to send it.
I mean, as a competitor, Molly, your mind is always on getting the top, right?
Absolutely. And again, Abby has made it to zone 15 very easy.
Abby's lining it up, tongue out with focus.
Yes. That tongue out is a good indication that Abby is trying hard.
So she tried stepping her foot out, but there's not much there.
Very close.
And
very close.
That is what we intended as route setters. So this last climb was a joint effort on the route setting team. Primarily Ben Hanna's idea, as well as the men's fourth climb is a tag team between Ben and Shane.
That was incredible confidence from Abby on her first attempt for the top hold.
Absolutely.
To me, that really demonstrates a level of confidence and commitment and even experience that we don't always see from all of our competitors.
And I think,
Abby is seasoned, but she hasn't competed a ton.
I think with her experience as a route setter, though, it gives her a little bit more of that vision of what is intended versus what she thinks is possible. So hopefully she now knows what she needs to do. She's a little bit more prepared, has a little bit more information coming into this next attempt. And, you know, I don't want to jinx her, but I think she can pull this off, Molly.
Abby taking that breath before the moment of commitment. She's close. She's controlled. She slowed it down a little this time. She recognized that momentum was only going to spin her off. Does she need to tap right, tap left to stop the momentum? Or can she stick it on her right foot?
I think she can stick it on her right foot. I think it just requires a lot of what as setters we like to call try hard. Just basically squeezing every muscle fiber in your body at the same time. It would also help if she brought her left hand in to clamp on the left side of that hold to stop herself from swinging.
Well, Abby has a lot of try hard.
As does Domingo. Let's see if he can establish himself on that 10 zone.
This is it for Abby. This will be her last attempt, likely.
Let's see if she can clean up with a 4-top final.
Oh,
so close.
I could almost guarantee another attempt and Abby would send that. She looked so controlled. Oh!
And with 10 seconds, I don't know if she's going to have enough time to get to those moves.
But the crowd is behind her, and they sure do appreciate her effort.
Time is up. Just not enough for that last climb for Abby.
What a round for Abby. She did phenomenally well. What commitment, what tenacity, what competitive nature. Wow, she's amazing.
So Abby finished the night off with 3 tops.
Yeah.
Almost a top on number 4. And that's looking pretty good for her for a guaranteed podium, if not first place.
And Abby is powered by cookies. She ate 8 cookies last night, she told me, prior to qualifiers. And I think there might be something to that. Gabby wasting no time getting started on this final women's problem.
Looking very comfortable through the 10 zone. And we've got Dylan starting out on men's 4. Dylan's currently sitting in 3rd place. Looking to try to knock Clay out of the 2nd place finish for the podium.
And with a send for Gabby, she could move to a podium position, correct?
Yeah, she's currently sitting in last place, in 5th place coming into the final. She tried going to that last move static. So I know we've mentioned the word dynamically before. Static's the total opposite. She's trying to go slow and controlled. And as route setters, we were fairly confident that you need to go with a little bit of pop to that last hold. So I think she's standing back. She's contemplating whether or not her method was the right way to go. And let's see what she brings to the table for this next attempt.
What do you think for somebody like Saskia, who's coming out later? She's very tall with very long arms. Do you think that she would be able to make that reach around? Or is she going to need to do the pop as well?
So the issue with reaching to that hold statically is keeping your left hand there will create a lot of momentum when that left hand is released to throw you off that hold. So, you know, some of our taller route setters were able to control that move without cutting their hand, but we're all taller than Saskia. So
yeah, 5'7", right? And
yeah.
so you have some route setters that are in the 6-foot zone.
Yeah, so we're hoping for this field of competitors that the move we wanted is the move we're going to get.
Okay.
But let's see what Gabby's got here.
Let's see if Gabby can make that slow reach or if she's going to go dynamic. It looks like she's rethinking her plan.
So one of the things we wanted to test as route setters was fear.
Nearly making that reach across statically, but I can see the issue. Even if she makes that reach, then what? How does she come off of zone 15 and match that zone 25?
A lot of try hard, Molly. A lot of try hard.
That's what I like to call grrr.
Yes. Dylan's wasting no time getting back on men's 4. Very close to sticking that dyno. Just checking his time, seeing how much more attempts he may have for this problem.
The final problem in any finals round is really exciting because you can feel the tension, the anxiety, the desire to send, and they just throw it all out there. There's no saving energy. There's no saving skin. This is it. This is the only thing that matters.
Dylan is finally connected to the 10 zone. Let's see if he's got the strength to finish this problem out.
With the intended beta, correct?
Yes. Gabby's trying the same beta as before. The problem with flipping her left hand like that is she no longer has the pull she would have if she kept her hand in the original stance.
And both climbers have finished their final problem for the evening with an excellent showing. They should be very proud of their work tonight. They were amazing, and definitely try hard was the theme for the evening for both of those climbers.
Yeah, it's very impressive to see after how hard these ladies and gentlemen tried last night that they still have this much in their tank coming into climbs that are harder than what they did last night.
Yes, the level of fitness that these climbers bring to these competitions is just incredible.
So we're down to our second place qualifiers. We've got at most 8 minutes left of competing. We've got Matt Foltz over on men's 4 and Saskia Baumann on women's 4. Let's see if Saskia can secure her position of second place with the top here.
I've watched Saskia climb a lot, and she's not the most dynamic climber, so I'm curious to see how she handles the top of women's 4.
Both climbers on their first attempt or their flash attempt. Saskia's lining up for this last move. Let's see how she decides to approach this move to the finish hold.
Wow, Matt Foltz moving slowly through that. What strength he demonstrates through that movement. Matt securing his first place win with a slow one-arm lock-off lower. What an amazing night for Matt Foltz.
I think, what's the saying? Icing on the cake?
Yes. And you know, Matt wouldn't admit it. I had talked to him about this, and I said, were you disappointed about last weekend? Because he finished out of finals last weekend in San Diego, and he typically ends up in finals. But, of course, being the true good-natured competitor that Matt is, he said, no, it was a great competition. I'm proud of my sons, whatever. But, oh, this has got to feel good after not making finals last weekend.
Yeah, so being the only male competitor to stick the jump on men's one, despite not topping it, he then topped the next 3 climbs. I don't want to say with ease. He definitely was trying hard. You know, it's clear his muscles were working very hard on that last climb. However, with a display of strength, he came through, finished the competition out strong, secured his first place finish, and earned himself a nice $1,000 check.
Next level strength from Matt Foltz tonight.
So now we've got our, everyone's cheering for local hometown climber Saskia.
Saskia attempted the foot stab last time, although a little tentatively, so we shall see this time if she commits to the foot stab.
Ooh.
She's aiming a little high on that final hold and not sinking her hand into the toilet bowl. She's just tickling the rim of that toilet bowl, if you will. So she needs to put her hand inside that deep spot up there, correct?
Yes, much closer this time than last, especially with the foot stomp to stop her momentum. She's got just under a minute left. Assuming with her current demeanor, she's going to rest as long as she can, give it one last good effort. And despite dynamic movement not being her specialty, I think Saskia, she's got what it takes to stick this move. Let's see if she's got the tenacity to pull it out.
So when she goes for that final hold, we should see her hand line up with the bolt hole.
Yes, that black dot in the center of the hold. So with 18 seconds left, this is for sure her last attempt. The crowd's behind her. Still aiming a little high. But a great effort from Saskia Baumann tonight, the young local star.
I would not be surprised if she comes into the gym, maybe not tomorrow, because hopefully she rests, but comes in on Monday and sends that climb.
Yeah, she's here all the time. I would not be surprised to see her in here working this climb.
Yes.
And here we are, Molly, our last competitors of the evening.
That was fast. I feel like this action-packed night has ended all too quick. So here we are now with our final 2 competitors. We have Michelle stepping up to women's problem number 4.
And it looks like with our current standings, Clay needs to establish the 5-point zone to get back on the podium. And Michelle seems like she just put herself on the podium as well with that 15-point zone.
Michelle's gonna dig deep here. You can see that look of determination.
Ooh, and a little low on that finish hold.
Wow, and look at this. He looks very happy with his send, as he should.
Impressive flash from Clay Gordon. Young star out of Arizona.
He's really stormed onto the scene this year. I think we will be seeing a lot more of Clay Gordon as the next seasons go on.
I agree. As a seasoned youth competitor, not only being a talented boulderer, but a talented sport climber, I don't know about the 2020 Olympics, but I think he's got a pretty bright future.
Absolutely. Michelle coming out, recognizing she's the only one left on the wall, hypes up the crowd. Her face is very determined again as she's heading up. She still has 2 minutes left. She's got a little time to figure it out.
Ooh, not sure quite what to do with her feet there. She got choked up. Plenty of time left, though. 2 minutes for at least another 1 or 2 good burns before her comp and the entire comp is over.
So she's taken a few minutes to really think about it. You can see her, she was just looking up at that last 2 holds. She's trying to figure out what the best method is. Last time she couldn't seem to commit to any one method. This time I would love to see her choose a method and just go for it. I know she can do it. She is strong.
So while Michelle waits to get on her climb again, the men's results, tentative, of course, seem to be in. In 5th place, we've got Domingo Jones. In fourth, we've got Ilyas Hossein. Third, Dylan Duriger. Second, Clay Gordon. And first place, definitively, Matt Foltz.
We'll hopefully be getting Matt in a few minutes for an interview. But for now, let's support Michelle as she is going to eye up that final hold.
You have 1 minute remaining.
Oh, so close. Still aiming a little high from where they need to be with that right hand.
I think she knows what she needs to do now. I think she's felt out the movement of that, and hopefully on this next go she hits 25 in the correct spot and she can match it, and we will see a top on this problem. That would be great for her and her podium standing.
And to quote you before, Molly, I think she just needs a little bit more grr. With 15 seconds left, this is for sure the last attempt of the comp.
And being a good sport despite a heartbreaking slip on the last hold, she smiles and walks off because, heck, she made it to finals. She's taking home money no matter what, so everybody's pretty happy about that.
Yeah. One thing I'd like to point out, Molly, is the difference between climbing and a lot of other sports. These competitors, most of them are friends, and it's not like you want to beat somebody because they did poorly. You know, these climbers have finished finals. Right next to me here is Domingo. He's been cheering on the other finalists the entire time. It's one of the great parts about the sport is the community,
Absolutely.
The encouragement, and just the psych. Like everyone's psyched to see everyone do well.
Yes, it's such a social sport, especially bouldering. You know, we constantly work to help each other, to support each other, and it's just, I just love climbing. It's just such a wonderful sport. Hopefully in a few minutes here, we'll be able to get a few of these competitors in to interview, and we can ask them, what they thought, how they felt like things went, how they enjoyed the problems. Hopefully they did, and we can get a good feel for how the evening went tonight. So, if you will, Matt, I'm going to go and grab hopefully one of the competitors, and you can remind the viewers tonight maybe of how the point systems will work and what you're seeing as the final results.
Sure, and before we do that, I want to thank our sponsors one more time. Our title sponsor is the North Face. We've also got Santa Fe Brewing. And let's click into our results here. So we've got our tentative final results. We've got Matt Foltz in first place with 89.6 points. Perfect score being 100, so just that first problem eluded him. Second place, Clay Gordon. And rounding out the podium is Dylan Duriger out of Arizona. And for the women's, we've got Abby Jakowski in first place with 89.9. Just missing out on problem 4 with her fourth top. Second place, local young teen Saskia Bauman with an impressive performance in both qualifiers and finals tonight. And in third place with that establishment of Zone 15 is Michelle Abshire with 69.1. So as you can see, we've got no ties. We had perfect separation through last night, perfect separation tonight in finals, and as a route setter, I can't be more excited for that result. Molly, I know as a competitor, you're bummed you couldn't compete this year. Are you psyched to get on these climbs?
Oh, I am so psyched. I will be in here Monday morning for sure to climb these problems as much as I can. But I'm looking forward to it, and I'm sure you're looking forward to just some well-needed rest after this exhausting week for you guys.
Yes, but I will be climbing outside tomorrow.
Good for you.
My fingers are tired of plastic. I want to get on some real rock. So that'll be fun. Plus, I've been stuck inside all week, setting up for the comp. Not that I didn't like it, but...
Right, but it's nice to get back to like the true nature of the sport, which is outdoor climbing.
Yes, and you couldn't ask for better weather right now in New Mexico. Early fall is definitely my favorite season here. We're no longer in September, but we are in Rocktober.
Ooh,
so,
good one.
So, hopefully we get some good weather tomorrow. No rain, which I doubt. We're in the middle of the desert. And I'm going to step aside. I'm going to let you hop in here with Matt.
Sounds great.
For our male winner this evening.
Awesome. Joining me now is Matt Foltz.
Hey, Molly.
Hey, Matt. That was spectacular.
Thank you.
How do you feel
Yeah,
about
I'm psyched.
tonight?
I feel really good. Yeah, things kind of shaped up my way, so it's
They
nice
sure
when that
did.
can happen at a comp.
Yeah. It was really fun to watch you. I really personally, my favorite was men's 3. We were calling it the toilet bowl, and you really committed to stuffing your hands into the toilet bowl as
Yeah,
you reached
sometimes
up.
you got to do that.
Absolutely, yes. What do you think? How were the problems for you tonight? Did you enjoy the climbing?
I really like them, and I think they fit my style pretty well. So I was really grateful for that. I think men's 3 was my favorite as well. That one, I think I tried harder on that one than I had to try harder on that one than any of the others. So.
One of the route setters was saying he stuffed his head into the toilet bowl as a rest. Did that occur to you at all?
It did not. No. Yeah, that's kind of cryptic.
Yeah,
and,
I was hoping to see it.
Yeah, I have more of an outdoor climbing background, so I don't.
You don't stick your
I
head.
can't think of those. Yeah, I got to do more comps, I guess.
Yeah. So this has got to feel good. I know I was talking to you earlier today, and you didn't really admit that you were disappointed by last weekend's performance, but it's got to feel good after not making finals last weekend.
Yeah, I was disappointed from last weekend. Not at my placement because there were so many strong climbers there, but just how I think I performed. But that's just how competitions are. It's ups and downs all the time, and my kind of mantra this week was regression to the mean. So if you have a bad comp, it's more likely you're going to have a good comp the next time. So that's kind of what happened today.
Proved to be true. And so where to next? What's the rest of your season looking like? Somebody was just putting their head in the toilet bowl over there. Anyway.
Yeah, well, thankfully, I'm going to take a couple weekends of no competitions. This is the 6th comp weekend in a row for me. So. Yeah, that's been pretty exhausting.
That is exhausting.
I think the next 2 weeks I'm just going to take it a little bit easy, hang out with Haley, and try to train up for the next National Cup in Houston.
Awesome. That sounds like a great plan.
Yeah.
It was so fun to watch you tonight. Thank you for performing so well. So we had very exciting things to say about you as you were going.
Yeah, thanks.
And good luck to the rest of your season.
Thank you.
All right.
No need for that.
Have a good night.
See you later. Well, again, that was Matt Foltz, our male winner tonight. He really killed it tonight. It was pretty incredible to watch him perform. And, he's just such a genuinely nice guy. I really enjoyed talking with him throughout the weekend. I just can't say enough wonderful things about Matt. And personally, because he's 26 years old, I really appreciate seeing a non-teenager doing well, because it is great to see some of our friends do well. Matt is joining us again. Actually, nope. It looks like we're gonna see one of our other competitors come in, and I'm gonna actually let Matt Ratajczak sit down and interview and chat for just a minute with one of our other competitors.
Jocelyn,
Yes.
welcome.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Walk us through finals. How'd you feel out there?
I was just super psyched the entire time. Like, I came out just wanting to have fun and have my best time, and that's what I did. Like, I just enjoyed myself, and the problems were amazing, and the setting was awesome, and the people I competed against were amazing as well. So.
Great. And is this, I've recognized you from the youth circuit. Is this your first year of eligibility on the adult open circuit?
Yes, this is my first year. Yeah.
So I think it's safe to say that the youth competitors are coming in like a storm.
Yeah, we're coming in pretty hot. I know for a fact that a lot of people were competing that were youth competitors. So. Yeah,
I think we had a couple people in their 20s tonight here for finals, but the vast majority of you are all still in high school.
Yeah.
Which I think says something to the youth circuit program that we've established with USA Climbing.
Yeah.
That y'all are accumulating a lot of experience in these big time comps. Because it was quite evident, you guys knew what you were doing out there. You were calm, cool, collected. Every attempt had purpose.
Mm-hmm.
I, for one, as a coach and a route setter, I'm excited to see what's to come in the future. How'd the qualifying round go for you last night?
Pretty well, actually. I sent 8 out of the 10 climbs, and I was super psyched to have made finals. When I found out, I was just jumping for joy. It was awesome. The climbs were super cool, and just overall, it was a great experience.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, what do you have in store? What's next? What's next? What's the next big comp? The next outdoor trip?
I'm really excited to go for regionals next. For my next big comp is regionals, and
Okay.
then after that divisionals, and then hopefully nationals. So that's my main goal right now.
Cool.
Nationals.
Well, good luck.
Thank you.
If tonight and last night were any indication of where you're at right now in the season, I wish you nothing but the best.
Thank you.
And I believe I'm setting for regionals, so hopefully I'll see you out there and
Cool.
you'll get a preview of my setting style here tonight.
I love the problems. They were amazing.
Cool. Cool. Well, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
And hopefully we'll see you at next year's Yank-N-Yard.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Cool. Thanks for
you.
stopping in.
Thank you.
All right, and next up, we have our women's champion this evening, Abby Chakowski. She'll be joining me here in the booth. Abby, congratulations. Welcome to the booth. So, first I'd like to say, 4th place coming into finals, come out on top in a dominating performance. Walk us through qualifying round last night.
I think I was a little tired, wasn't really reading routes very well. Definitely wasn't my best performance, but it was okay.
All right.
I still had fun.
Yeah, I mean, it was obviously a good enough performance to make it into finals.
Right.
Last night compared to tonight, did you feel better, feel more prepared? How did last night's climb compare to tonight?
I think this kind of format just like suits me a little bit better. When there's just like kind of chaos going around and everyone's trying to climb everything, I have a hard time like centering in and being like, oh, this is smart and this is not, you know? So I think this definitely is just more my like way of climbing better.
Right, so we had a tricky, bouncy little climb to start. We saw a lot of unfortunate foot slips.
Yeah.
But then you came out looking really strong on women's too. You're the only top of the night. Walk us through your head when you got to that last move. You just seemed a lot more confident than all the other climbers out there tonight.
Yeah, that was actually the climb I was worried the most about because I am not good at pinching at all. I have pretty small hands. But I don't know, that last pinch is actually on the smaller side, so I felt pretty good on it. Just kind of committed to the finish hold and felt pretty good.
Yeah, and luckily on those French fries, they're not forcing you to pinch them. There are some nice little edges that you can crimp on.
Yeah, which I didn't see coming. So that definitely helped me out. I kind of open-handed some a little, so.
Cool. And then otherwise, you know, it was nice to have a pretty long rest in ISO before each climb.
Yeah, it's hard because, you know, it's like just the right amount of time that you start to get cold, but also like nice because you get to like sit back there and like relax a little bit. So you kind of have to like move enough that you don't get cold. But
Right. Right. So I know you were originally from Albuquerque. You used to train. You used to be on the team here at Stone Age. You've now moved to Colorado.
Yeah.
You are now a route setter.
Yeah.
How do you feel? Has that helped you in your competing scene? Do you feel like you have a different perspective on reading routes, what to expect at competitions? Does it help with your head game at all?
I don't know. I thought at first it would, but I tend to still like see what I think I would have intended as a setter and be like, okay, this is what they must have meant. And then it's, you know, the typical, oh, I want you to think you're doing this, but it's not the right move kind of thing. And I think that's where I kind of fell into those traps last night in qualifiers because I'd be like, oh, I think this is like a sly toe catch because I know Ben Hanna likes to set things like
Yes,
that.
he does.
And I was wrong. He didn't. So.
Yeah. So last question for you. You were the oldest competitor in the women's field tonight?
No, Michelle is actually older than I am.
Michelle was, but then everyone else was by
Pretty
and
young.
far much younger than you.
Yeah.
You know, how does that affect the route reading? How does it affect isolation? Do you feel like it's like an us versus them? Or do you find it inspiring that these young kids now are giving the older, more experienced climbers a run for their money?
I definitely think it's pretty sick that the kids are like showing up everyone. Like the last few pro comps, like Portland Boulder Rally and San Diego, the young kids are really just crushing right now. And I think it's pretty inspiring to be like, okay, you know, gotta be on top of it or I'm definitely gonna fall under.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you've got a nice big check coming your way. What's next on the agenda for you?
I think I need to buy some new brakes.
For your car?
Yeah.
That's
or
priority.
tires. I might have to buy both. So, no fun spending money, really.
Well, hey, you earned it. It was awesome watching you last night on all our climbs. It was a pleasure watching you crush the finals tonight. Congratulations. Thanks for stopping in.
Yeah, thank you.
And I think we're both kicked out of the booth right now. So,
Sick.
yeah. Okay. Up next, we got Ben Hanna and Melly back in the booth.
Hey, Ben.
Hey, how's it going?
Great. So tell us about your experience setting for this comp and being a spectator.
It was super strange for me because this is, I mean, I'm always on the other side competing
Absolutely,
my whole
yeah.
life, so it was super interesting and weird doing the like rules meetings.
Yeah.
and setting. But it was also really fun. I really enjoy it. And
What do you find more stressful, setting for a comp like this or climbing in a comp like this?
mostly setting, for
Yeah.
sure. Setting is kind of stressful the whole time.
Yeah.
Whereas at least with competition, like, I'm more used to it at least.
Yeah.
And with the competition, you're in control the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
It's your climbing. Whereas with setting, you're kind of just gonna sit back and watch, and your job's done. You've done everything you can.
I feel that with commentating, actually. I find it way more stressful than competing.
Oh yeah, I'm feeling a little red right now.
Well, Ben, you're such a fixture for Albuquerque and for the national climbing scene. So I know people really want to see you tonight. What problem or problems did you play a big part in setting tonight?
I participated most in the simple volume climb, men's 2, women's 4, and men's 4.
So that simple volumes climb, that was a really unique climb. It required a lot of interesting body position. It required a lot of shoulder strength. And I really noticed that the climbers that were most successful committed to a foot position up high and just went for it, as opposed to trying to work around a variety of foot positions.
Mm-hmm.
So what was your vision with that?
So that was inspired by a lot of the climbing I do over in Europe with the competition scene and the IFSC. And that was kind of like my hope, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Not quite there, but
Did
that
it
was
play
kind of
out the way you
idea.
hoped to see it?
I think it played out perfectly. We had one top, and some people got to 10, some people got to 15. Which
Yeah.
was everyone got off the starting box, which was
That's
kind
a
of the
good
concern
sign. Yep.
for us.
Absolutely. And it's just such an aesthetically beautiful climb.
Yeah, I really like looking at that one.
Yeah, and it's really cool that slippery surface, the fiberglassy feeling surface is so unique. I haven't really seen that anywhere else. Is that
Oh,
new
it's
for
so
you to
much
work
fun.
with, or is that something you've seen around?
That's something I do. I climb a lot with on like the competition scene, so I'm very used to it. I'm very used to those volumes. Like I did a lot of climbing in Austria on those volumes, so that's why when we got them, I was so excited to play with them and get to set with them instead of just climb with them, which was super fun.
Yeah. So coming into a weekend like this where you're setting for a competition, do you already have a vision? Do you know, like, oh, I definitely want to set something with this type of movement in it? Or do you come in and you have to figure out what your wall space is first? I mean, how much vision goes into it before you even set foot in the gym?
I mean, I got really lucky. Matt gave us our assignments 2 weeks ago and said, "Hey, think about this. Like, these are the criteria you have to hit with your climb." And I was assigned women's 4 and men's 2.
Okay.
And I didn't plan at all for women's 5. I usually will just come and set boulders.
Yeah.
But when he gave me the assignment for men's 2, I instantly thought about these volumes
Really?
on
That's
that
awesome.
wall. And I was like, I would love to do something where you have to walk across the volumes and do some pressing and some pulling on the volumes with bad crimps. And then 2 weeks later, we ended up actually getting them, or Lance ordered them. So that was super exciting because we didn't even have those volumes when I had assigned it and had it in my head. I was like, well, one day in a perfect world, I would use those volumes for this climb.
It was a really incredible climb. It was so beautiful, and it was fun to watch everybody work their way through the holds. I would love to see more of those volumes in this gym because they are really, really neat.
Brian.
So
yeah, me too. Those volumes they're just so much better than anything else right now, and they're awesome to set with.
So I know you say, you guys are primary setters on each of these boulder problems, but there is a collaborative component to it, right?
Oh, huge. I would say mostly collaborative. We'll all put up a skeleton. Usually 2 people will help put up a skeleton, and then from there it just becomes everyone's boulder.
That's awesome.
Like, I mean, I hate to say that I set any of these boulders because really it was so collaborative, and everyone participated so much in each boulder that it was a group effort for every boulder.
Yes, well, excellent job, Ben. I look forward to seeing you out competing too. What's the future for you as far as your comp season goes?
As far as comp season, I'm training for the next month, and I'm going to do the next 2 national cups.
Awesome.
And hopefully make some finals in those.
Yeah, and then on to the nationals in Bend this year?
Mm-hmm. Yep,
Great.
off to Bend, and then sport nationals, and then off to Europe again.
Busy guy.
Yeah,
all
living
right.
the dream.
Well, thank you so much for coming in
and
seeing us, and thank you for your excellent vision in these boulder problems. It was really fun to watch tonight. It's a great finals.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks so much for commentating.
Yeah, oh, my pleasure.
See you later.
See ya. So again, we are just awaiting the appeals period. Right now we're looking at, it was a 20-minute appeals period, so basically we're looking to see that everybody's happy with the scores as they stand, and then from there we will award our podium winners. Everybody in finals takes home money tonight, which is so awesome. It doesn't always work out that way, but for this particular competition, we're lucky to actually have that opportunity tonight. So again, we're live from Yank-N-Yard 2018, and we're looking at a wonderful evening. It was action-packed. If you are just now tuning in, you need to rewind and watch because we had some amazing action. It was a really, really excellent finals, really well set, really excellent holds, and the competition was fierce. And again, you are going to hear some names tonight that you are not familiar with, but you will be in a very short period of time. And back in the booth now is Matt Ratajczyk joining me. Again, he was one of the main route setters for this weekend's competition, and actually he is a chief route setter here at Stone Age and works tirelessly coaching and working hard to route set all the time. Also a new father.
Yes.
He has an adorable little one named Marigold.
Yeah,
so he's a busy guy.
If you want to talk about balance with rock climbing, that's real balance in life right there.
Oh, I hear you. I have 2 babies.
Oh, yeah. I don't know how you guys do it. I don't know how you do it.
Yes. Well, it's a passion, right? You have to be obsessed with this sport in order for it to work out.
Yeah, and as hard as we all work this week, from management to the route setters to the prep crew, everybody here at Stone Age, as hard as we worked, it didn't really feel like work. So
right, because it's exciting and it's fun and we have a good time. And even my place tonight, I came out early and I was like, what can I do to help? And I walked around scrubbing volumes, which was fun. So it looks like we are getting ready.
Do you want to interview Clay, or you want me to?
Are we? I think we're almost ready. Should we pull? Yeah. It might be really. Yeah, sure.
Just make sure you're close to this.
Okay.
Do you want me to sit in? Do you want to sit in?
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
So right now I am sitting in with Clay, and Clay had a really outstanding evening, especially coming off of San Diego. Yeah, so you're kind of on fire right now, my friend.
Oh, I mean, I wouldn't say on fire. I think I'm just having a good weekend or two.
So humble. We were talking about the future of the sport, and so many new names were at this comp.
Yeah.
And I mean, even though you were competing last weekend and you had a great competition, you're still kind of a new name to the adult scene. But you're not really new anymore. So tell us about how you think things went tonight for you.
I think all the boulders, I think I did the best I could in the 4 minutes. I wish I read the left hand on the first one, but it just, that's how it goes sometimes. But
yeah.
I had a lot of fun on all the boulders. One was weird, but I got on it after the comp, and I had a lot of fun on it after the dyno. 4 was just right up my alley. I love that style of climbing because roof climbing is just what I live for.
That looked fun.
Yeah.
When you climbed it, it looked fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I mean, that's just what I grew up climbing on it, and like pretty strong stuff in flex. That was just all all roofs. Number 3 was a lot of fun. I had it was just super fun to try. It's just pretty funky movement, but I really enjoyed it. And then 2, just sometimes, it was a fun climb, but wish I could have figured it out during the comp.
So, whether you know it or not, you have suddenly become a role model, right, for these youth climbers coming up. And they look to you and they see what the potential is for them. And so what kind of advice would you offer then for these young climbers coming up and these 12, 13-year-old climbers that are thinking, I want to be like Clay someday. I want to do that.
I mean, I would just say try to get as much exposure to this funky style of rock climbing that we see in comps, because the more exposure you have to it, the better you're just gonna get, because it's all just because of experience. Yeah. And I mean, I wouldn't let just like one comp discourage you guys. I mean, I've had plenty of comps where I didn't have my best result, but I just kept on going back to the gym, and that's all it takes. It's just always coming back to climbing.
Well, it's clearly paid off. You had an amazing weekend here, an amazing performance last weekend, and I think, when you have those 2 performances like that in a row, it really speaks to what you are capable of and your actual ability. It wasn't luck.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
So when you talk about getting experience and exposure, for you, is that competition, or is that climbing in a variety of gyms? Or?
Recently, I've been trying to just climb more of the gyms around the valley, so I get more exposure to just like different types of movement. But also, that's just climbing outside at every opportunity that I get, and and just like setting my own comp simulations, as well as just like competing as much as you can. Like I've competed in the youth circuit for the past 8 years or something like that in both disciplines.
Yeah.
So it's just like the more competition experience, the better. Because I mean, if you look at the best on the World Cup circuit too, like they've just been competing for so long.
Absolutely.
Like, the more experience, the more likely you are to do better, I think.
Mm-hmm. I know it's interesting because a lot of you youth competitors, you're young, but you have so much more experience than us old people. And it's because you've been on the youth circuit for so many years and you've had this experience. And that really showed when you were out there climbing. You were so composed and you had the ability to sort of recover from maybe a disappointing go or a foot slip, and you just sort of composed and went back again. And that was it's really cool to see that.
Yeah, thank you. That's something that's actually been like kind of a struggle of mine in the past couple of years, just really being able to hit the reset button.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to have been able to kind of do that more and more during these comps. But I'm really excited for the ones to come. Hopefully I can do more. So.
Well, thank you. It looks like we are getting close to some award time, but real quick, what is your plan? What are you going to do next? Are you going to stay with the adult circuit? Or are you going to do youth and adult? What's your plan in life?
I'm planning on doing the bouldering youth circuit, so I'm really excited for that. I want to do more of the adult comps. I would like to do open nationals, but
you should.
If I qualify, I'd like to do that. But you never really know.
Are you not qualified yet?
I really don't know. I haven't checked.
I think you might be. You should check into that.
Okay, yeah. But, I never really know if it's going to happen just because of school and just getting there and stuff. So.
And so what year are you in school?
I'm a junior.
That's what I thought. Mm-hmm. So junior is notoriously hard. You're making decisions. You're figuring out college. You're deciding where you're going to go in life. Mm-hmm. What do you think? Where are you going to go? Are you going to try to stay? Are you going to go to the Boulder route? Or are you going to stay west?
Yeah, I want to stay out west. I like the west half the country. I like the kind of the vibe out there, but I haven't really thought about that too much, so I'm sorry, but I don't really have an answer for you.
That's okay.
I just want to keep on climbing a lot.
Yeah,
that's kind of
awesome.
just what I want to do.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Focus on those ACTs and SATs, and
I got those coming
just
up.
get through it. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming in and talking with us, and thanks for performing so well. It was a pleasure watching you tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Awesome. Nice to meet you too. So we're starting to gear up for some awards now. The competitors all look like they're in a very relaxed state at this point. Everybody's winding down for the evening. In the background, behind, there's a variety of people, youth competitors, adult competitors. Everybody is trying, everybody wants to do these boulder problems, and they want to see what it was like. I haven't seen any tops yet, so I think that just proves the challenges and the difficulty of these boulder problems tonight. So yeah, we are looking at an exciting award ceremony coming up here in just a few minutes. People are anxious, I'm sure, to get their hands on their big checks from the evening. I really appreciate that every single competitor in finals receives a check. You know, sometimes they don't, and that can be really disappointing. So for all of these competitors, they all win tonight, and they all end up gaining from it.
That's right, and quite frankly, even our competitors in our Citizens Comp and our Youth Comp, you know, it's a big win to be able to hang out here and see a big-time comp, a big-time show that, you know, we're used to watching on YouTube, and now we're here seeing it live in person, and they get to try the climbs. We've been trying to beat these kids off the wall. We've announced it many times to stay off, and
they're so excited. They
still
just
getting
want a
back on.
taste. They want a taste of that awesomeness.
Yeah.
Well, I just had a really interesting interview with Clay. It was so fun to talk about the perspective that he had as a youth competitor. You know, and I was asking him about college and what he was going to be doing, and he was like, I don't know, I just want to climb right now. And I just so appreciated his youth, you know, and that future that we see in climbers like Clay.
Well, I don't know if you touched upon it, but unfortunately, our resident crusher, route setter, pro climber, Ben Hanna, is leaving us. To live the dream, he's living in his van.
I know.
He's gonna climb.
But good for him. He's
Good
got
for
to
him.
spread his little wings and go.
Yeah.
And send.
Luckily, he has escaped the grasps of the land of entrapment. But I have a feeling he will be back.
I looked over and Ben was actually sitting on his mom's lap at the moment, which was particularly adorable.
Yeah.
He's not quite ready to leave his mommy's embrace yet. So we got to appreciate Ben and his love for his supportive mama.
Yes, he will be missed. He was a great asset on our setting team today. He knew the competitors better than any of us. Not to mention that he climbs 2 to 3 grades stronger than all of us.
That's true.
So now we've got our camera on Stone Age owner Brian Pletta. He is going to be handing out not comically large checks, but definitely not your average size checks.
That is true. Everybody wants an enlarged check.
And I'm pretty sure they're not real because it says piggy bank on them. So
nice. So our 5th place for female is Gabby. And then 4th is Jocelyn Morris, one of our other youth crushers for the evening.
Michelle Abshire is in 3rd place, our first podium bronze medalist. 2nd place, local crusher Saskia Bauman.
Abby took our 1st place, and I am so thrilled to see number 1 and number 2 going to locals. Yes, Abby, we are claiming you as a local.
And in their final challenge, standing up on the box jumps without falling.
With an accentuated jump off of them. So that was the women's. What a strong field of women tonight.
Yeah, great show too. We almost saw all of our men's climb top in 5th place. Local young crusher, Domingo Jones. In 4th place from Colorado, we've got Ilyas Hussein.
All right, 3rd place, we have Dylan Duriga.
In 3rd place from Focus Climbing out of Arizona, we've got Dylan Duriger.
Dylan
Dylan
Durager.
Dylan Durager. He had a great evening tonight.
Sporting a first cheesy smile and then a legit smile. 2nd place, Clay Gordon.
A strong performance.
And 1st place, Matt Foltz.
And our pro crusher in 1st place, Matt Foltz.
No surprise, back on top again. Matt Foltz finding his $1,000 giant check in his hands.
He made finals last year at the Yank-N-Yard during the National Cup Series. Did not podium, but here he is now, standing on top.
Well, last year I actually had pegged him as our 1st place winner, so I guess I was just a year early for that. Oh, so they're about to announce the extra special 1st place award. Yank-N-Yard.
Our local artist and route setter and coach, Aaron Stromberg, has created these masterpieces for them to hang up on their walls.
Very New Mexico. I'm sure those will be going on the wall at home for both of these competitors.
All right, congratulations, guys.
What a great evening. What a fun, action-packed, exciting evening of climbing competition.
As a route setter with perfect separation, I'm glad it's over. As a commentator speaking for 2 hours, kind of glad it's over.
Right.
Let's not forget to thank our sponsors again. We've got the North Face, Volks Holds, our hold sponsor, as well as Santa Fe Brewing Co. Again, we just started our 8-day festival here at Stone Age Climbing Gym, the Primate Climbing Festival. We've got membership sales. We've got pro clinics.
It's my favorite holiday, the Primate Week.
We've got movie nights. We've got GAN PR, our video production crew, who've given us nothing but the greatest angles.
Yes, I have to say that the videography tonight was really excellent. They were right there. They were ready to catch all the action for you guys tonight.
Yes, and without them, we would have made many mistakes. They've guided us.
Many more mistakes.
Many more mistakes, yeah.
And then there's a list of all the other wonderful sponsors that have supported us in this endeavor. Without all of these people, without all of these companies, we would not be able to put on this amazing competition. So
yeah.
Thank you all.
Yeah.
And of course, Stone Age Climbing Gym for hosting this amazing competition.
Set up in the northwest corner. Come put your name on a scorecard for us and get you in the prize raffle. You volunteer together. Please come put your name in the prize raffle, and you must be in attendance.
We did it.
Thank you.
Woo! Sitting and talking is tiring.